To Christmas school or not to Christmas school? That is the question.
Making our Christmas memories.
Hey guys, welcome to Home Sweet Homeschool. If you're new here, my name is Ashley and I'm a homeschooling mom to one. And in today's video, we're going to talk about Christmas homeschool plans. Now, if you turn on YouTube and you look at any of the homeschooling channels, you're going to see so much Christmas because the majority of the people on YouTube here, they do Christmas homeschool. If you don't know what that is, that's kind of where you put a pause on your other curriculum or you just do a little bit less of your main curriculum and you do more Christmas things. It may be advent calendar, it may be a Christmas unit study, it could be a variety of things. You're going to see all kinds of things out there, and honestly I'm probably a little late to the game because at this point we're already into December when you see this video. So I do want to talk about Christmas school, and I just want to start with saying if you're not doing Christmas homeschooling, that's okay. I love Christmas just as much as the next person. I like it just as much as kids do. Like, I love the lights, the songs, the movies, all that good stuff. But it can be a little overwhelming. I mean, we have a lot of Christmas parties. We have things going on at church. You have programs to go to. You want to ride like a Christmas lights. And when you think of adding one more thing to all the things you already have to do, I can understand why you wouldn't want to do anything extra. So if you don't want a Christmas school, that's okay. And if you do want a Christmas school, that's okay too. So last year, we did not do Christmas homeschool. We just kept going with our regular curriculum. And you know what? Christmas still came and it was a lot of fun. Now this year, Campfire Curriculums put out a new Christmas unit. So they revamped their old one. So you can check out Christmas Around Campfire. And then they created a new one called Caroling Noel. And that's the one we chose to do because we love Christmas carols. Now, we're not real good singers. My sister is. We're not. But that doesn't stop us from singing, right? So I love Christmas carols. My son loves them. And this has been the perfect unit for us. So what it does is each lesson is going to focus on a Christmas carol. And it really kind of tells you the backstory. You talk about what some of the words mean. You learn about different parts of music. We've learned about dynamics and pitch and frequency and wavelength and all those kind of things. And so far, we are all the way into lesson 7 and we have loved it. So just a quick rundown. If you do not know what Campfire Curriculums is, it is a unit study. They create unit studies. They have a website, and I will link it down below. We love these unit studies. We don't just use them for the holiday. We use them all the time. They are wonderful. They are in a living book format, so it's very engaging and very nice to listen to. They meaning the creators, they job shadow these people when they're talking about careers and things like that, and they use that to write their units. Now, this is a Christmas Carol unit, but we have done a ton, and if you want to see flip-throughs or see some of the other units we've done, I have a Campfire Curriculums playlist. You can check that out. But this unit in the season of Caroling Noel is 12 lessons. So even though on this day we're already into December and you decide that you want to do a Christmas unit study or just something light, this has 12 lessons. You totally have time to go ahead and purchase this and do this unit. You could do some of it and save some for next year, or you could do all of it. It's very, very flexible and very easy to use, and we'll talk about that. So definitely go check out Campfire Curriculums. So like I said, this is 12 lessons. They do have a disclaimer at the front that you may want to read that talks about some different things related to Christmas. But like I said, 12 lessons. I do have a flip through of this unit. You can check that out. I'll link that down below. And I'll just kind of share with you some of the things we've done so far. So we were able to talk about how Christmas caroling used to be banned, which I had no idea about that. We talk about the person who went and collected all these carols and put them into a book. We've talked about Charles Dickens. We even, there is even a recipe in here. There's some recipes here for an apple cider and figgy pudding. We are not very adventurous when it comes to food. We're a little picky. And so I guess we like what we like, right? So we did not bake those things. We are more like sugar cookies and icing kind of family. So we didn't do the figgy pudding and the apple cider, but we did try eggnog. My husband loves eggnog. Emma said and I never had it. So we did try eggnog. And to me, it just tasted like a really, like a melted milkshake. I wasn't into it. My son wasn't into it. But anyway, that's beside the point, right? So the great thing about Campfire is if you want something that's just easy and open and go, you've got it. So you'll read the lesson with your family, and they're great because you're learning so much, like the behind the scenes to these wonderful carols. There's also places to pause and go to their links page and listen to these carols. Now, if you're like me, you already have stuff like this playing all the time anyway, but to hear the different renditions of it is fun too. So I love that. So if you just wanted something to read with your kids, if you said, you know what, I would love to do a carol study, but I don't have time for any extra activities and I don't want to do the chord connections, that's okay, because you're going to get so much just from the lesson itself. Just by reading the lesson, utilizing the links page, you're going to get so much out of it. So that's what's in here. You just read through it. Tons of good information. The faith talks and the think tanks are wonderful. Wonderful ways to end your lesson and focus on the Lord. And then your think tanks, oh my goodness. Between me and my son, we have wonderful conversations because these really make you stop and think. And then there's always activity options. And again, it says options, meaning you can do them or you don't have to. And what I love about it is I don't have to do it on this day. If we're running short on time and there's something we have to do, I can save this activity for another day. There's nothing is set in stone that it has to be done this way. And that's what I love about it. So there are activity options. And then there's also these wonderful skip if you want pages. I usually do not skip them because they're great. And so this one just talks about what a wait was. And then you get to talk about God Rest You Merry Gentlemen, which is one of my favorite Christmas songs. So let's see what else we have done. Just in the lessons we have went over so far, we talked about Oh Holy Night. Now, I don't know about you, but I love Mariah Carey's Christmas album. I don't even remember how old I was when that came out, but like I loved it. And I still have my CD, even though I do not have a CD player anywhere. Like my car doesn't have a CD player. Nowhere in my house has a CD player. So I'll just look it up on YouTube. But anyway, you get to listen to her version. And it's wonderful. So we read all about Oh Holy Night, and the story behind that is so moving. It was such a moving story. So you read through the lesson. Again, you have your activity option, which was actually a ton of fun. And it was talking about, feeling the music and what dynamics are, and kind of, you just draw when you feel it increasing. That was a lot of fun. My son and I really enjoyed that. We actually did it with a couple more songs, not just Oh Holy Night. So that was a lot of fun. And then again, you have your faith talk. And the skip if you want here is more about music. It's very musical, of course. So we've done that. We have read about the Carol of the Bells, which you have probably heard if you've watched Home Alone. It is in Home Alone. And that was nice to listen to. There was a couple of versions of that. There were some cool teacher moments where you talk about onomatopoeia and personification, which is always fun. And then I think one of the lessons I've loved so far is lesson 4. It's I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day. This is a really interesting story about how that song came to be. And lesson 5, you talk about how when you listen to music, it kind of creates a picture. And so you do a little picture study, which is a lot of fun. And then today, because we're going to the mountains soon and we want to finish this up before we go to the mountains, we actually combined lesson 6 and lesson 7. They were both about a little town of Bethlehem. So we combined both of those, and I looked at it and I decided, okay, I don't want to do all the activities that are in here, but we ended up playing the game. There's a little game. It tells you, how to play. It has the rules. It's very simple. The pieces are in the back of the unit. You cut them out and you play the game. We did that, and we did a couple of the core connections, and that's it. And I'm just going to tell you this. It has this lovely recipe for cookies, but I'm not a baker. That's my sister. My sister actually bakes for a living. this is not me. So while this is a great idea, if you're anything like me, I go buy the little roll of cookie dough from Pillsbury, and that's how we make cookies. So I know it's not a shortbread cookie, but that's the cookies we love. So this is just to say, be flexible. Do what works for your family. It did not take away from this lesson. The lesson was beautiful. But to work for my family, I had to make my Pillsbury cookies. And so that's what we ate today. And that was fine. Like, it was fine. So there is a recipe if you are adventurous and you like to bake things. Not me. Now, we have been doing some core connections, and they're very simple. So we did put a hold on our regular unit studies, and we're doing this. And this is all we use. I do not add anything else. And what is so neat about this one, the core connections are the same for this unit and for the other Christmas unit. And so there's a little bit of math in here. It's about probability and odds. And that's all we've been doing. It's not going to ruin my son for him to skip math for December. Like, he's going to be okay. Like, come January, we're going to pick his math back up and we're just going to keep going. And everything's going to be all right. It's all right. He's going to be all right. You can pause your math curriculum, I promise. So we've been doing that. So the science has been focused on physics and nature studies so far. We've loved that. For language arts, we've talked about the importance of writing a letter and how to write a letter, and that was great. And what words mean, we talked about that. We did some food chemistry, and we talked about emulsifiers, which we had done previously in the professional chef unit, and so my son remembered that. So that was great. We've talked about poetry. Words, all kinds of wonderful things. Communication, more physics. There is a break day sometimes where there isn't any math or isn't any language arts, and that's okay. There is a nature study on astronomy. We did skip that for today. We're going to pick that up another time. And then we did like this graph today for probability. So, and there's more. We just haven't gotten to it yet. So this is what we're using for Christmas school. We'll do this up until we go to the mountains. And then when we come back, we're going to start our Christmas break. And we have loved this. So it's not too late if you want to try a Christmas unit from Campfire. It is not too late to go and purchase one. You will not regret it. They are amazing. Now, as far as, what are the kids doing? How do they show their work? This is what we do. I have these notebooks from School Nest. I actually ordered them off of Amazon. And what I do is I just let him, this is his letter that he wrote, his Christmas letter. He put that in there. We just kind of put everything in here. This was talking about, what words mean. This is where he just kind of takes notes. Like, we listen to the lesson, and he just takes notes on the things he finds important in each lesson. This is where we wrote a haiku, and then just more notes. As you can see, he's not much of a drawer, and that's okay. A lot of people don't like to draw. He just wants to write and take notes, and that's what he does. And this would, you could just use a spiral notebook. And then when we do science, I have the science notebook from School Nest. You don't need this either. Buy you a spiral notebook, computer paper, doesn't matter. And what we do here is he just takes, this was his experiment that we did the other day. Yeah, that was all here. For, I think it was Charles's law states that the temperature of gas increases. So we did that. And then where he's talked about sound waves and emulsifiers and wavelengths. And we just put it all here in our journal, and that's what he does. That's the work that he does, and he has learned so much so far. Now, this has nothing to do with the Campfire unit, but I wanted us to have a read aloud. And I'm kind of waiting on a Christmas Carol because I'm hoping that Campfire will come out with something for a Christmas Carol next year. But I knew that this story, The Vanderbeekers of 141st Street, I knew that it took place during Christmas. So it's not like a mushy-gushy Christmas story. But it's been great. I've heard great things about it from other homeschool moms. I feel like we're kind of like the last bunch to read this. But we've really liked it. I think my son likes it because these kids kind of, he has things in common with them. They're not he hates books that are set a long time ago. He just cannot stand that. This seems current. The kids use the language that he uses. you know, he's been to New York. He knows what Harlem looks like. Like, he can relate to this, and I think that's why he likes it. He's really been into it. We read it in the morning, and it's a great little story. I mean, you know, they're having to move, but it's a great little story, and it is set during Christmas time, so that's what we're enjoying so far. So this is quite a long video to just tell you that I'm using that in the season of caroling Noel. But I just want to leave on a note, if you are using something that's wonderful and you want to share it, leave it down in the comments, because there's going to be people out there looking for something. So even if it's just like simple printables, or if it's another unit study, let me know in the comments what you're using, or if you've decided, I don't want to do that. We already do a ton of Christmas stuff already, and we're not going to do a unit, and that's okay too. Leave that in the comments, because that's going to make somebody feel better to know they are not the only ones that aren't doing anything. So I'm going to leave it at that. Check out Campfire Curriculums. Check out my flip through, and as always, thank you so much for watching.